from the Figure 4 Online Studios in beautiful Bothell, Washington, exclusively at WrestlingObserver.com. You're listening to the Bryan and Vinny Show with your hosts, Bryan Alvarez and Big Vinny V.
All right, it is the Bryan and Vinny Show here, Thursday, November 7, 2019, figure4online.com/wrestlingobserver.com. We got the AEW and NXT shows to recap here today. Two fine programs as always. AEW, the go-home show for the pay-per-view Saturday, and the NXT show was the Invasion.
The invasion continues.
The unbilled invasion. You know how close they were in the ratings?
I do not
They
know.
were neck and neck. I'll get the exact numbers here in a moment, but I gotta smoothly fade down my music here, because I am a professional.
Sure.
So, this week, the numbers: AEW 822,000, NXT 813,000.
Really?
Yeah, they were
Goodness.
neck and neck this week. And you realize that if they had just announced on Raw that AJ and the OC were going to be on NXT, they almost assuredly would have won.
It would have helped.
But they couldn't even do that. Like, there was no reason that they should have lost this week. None. If they're this close, all they had to do was say, the OC is going to show up and we're going to run roughshod on NXT. That's all they had to do, and they would have won. But they can't even do that. They have to go off the air on Monday. Zero announcement of what's happening on this pay-per-view. It's just blows my mind. So anyway, let's talk about this NXT show.
Well, let's get into it. WWE NXT, November 6th, 2019. Breaking news, we begin with. Minutes ago, the OC did in fact jump.
Moments ago.
Yeah, they jumped the Undisputed Era in the parking lot and laid them all out. Then they come out into the building. They hit the ring. They begin to hit various people.
Do you realize, by the way, how often I'm on social media?
As I understand it, like 24 hours a day.
I'm like up there all the time. I had no idea they shot this angle and put it on social media. Me!
Yeah. So, AJ cuts a promo. It is every invasion angle promo you've ever heard. They picked a fight. You wanted a war, you got one. I was hoping he would come out here and say, I've been all over the world, and this is the shittiest building I've ever been in.
He was disgusted by this place.
You could tell.
Yeah.
So all the champs are out of commission, he says. So
But realistically, this is not the worst building he's ever been.
Well, no.
Not even close.
I suspect if we went through the early ROH catalog, we see a lot worse. But all the champs are out of commission. They're taking over. This brings out Tommaso Ciampa. Says people used to ask him when he would be going up to the main roster. He welcomes them to the main roster because the main roster is NXT.
I did love when he said, people asked me when I should go up to the main roster, and people groaned in Full Sail. I laughed.
He's perfectly happy with letting the OC beat up the Undisputed Era. But if they're going to stand in his ring and claim to be taking over, he has a problem with that. AJ says, you're the only one with balls enough to say anything, so out come Keith Lee and Matt Riddle, who I guess are just a tag team now, which is weird. And Ciampa says they are prepping for Undisputed Era at War Games, but they challenge OC to a match tonight, and the OC accepts.
Yeah.
This is a perfectly fine little show opening promo.
Yeah, AJ's here. The OC is here. There's big-time stars on NXT television on Wednesday.
I can't believe it took them...
Unbilled.
Well,
I still can't get over this. Like, it's not even like there was a big, shocking surprise that they didn't want to spoil.
no, they came out
They
at the
just
end.
walked out at the beginning
At
of the
beginning,
show.
Yes. And also, I can't believe it took them 2 months of being a live show to actually have main roster stars on here.
Well,
Pete Dunne versus Damian Priest. This annoyed me almost immediately through no fault of the men involved. The match is announced. They go through full entrances. They go through full introductions. They wrestle for 1 minute, and we get a bunch of commercials.
yes.
That sucked.
There's a lot of stuff about this war, and even Raw and SmackDown that I get really mad about, and it's not the fault of the individuals.
Almost none of it.
But
Almost none
my
of it.
God, the two commercial breaks in the middle of this match.
It's not just that there's two of them. It's that one was almost instantaneous.
Yes.
It was like, ding, 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 let's go to break.
It tells you that to them,
Yes.
the entrances
Yes.
are more important than the professional wrestling.
It tells me, the viewer, that I am wasting my time trying to watch the wrestling match.
Yes.
Which is what I want to watch. So,
I think this was good, but I really can't tell.
it was...
What I saw was pretty good, but I would have liked to have seen, like, the match.
There was another match where I actually wrote down, I suspect this was good, but I couldn't see it. But it was the same thing. There was, at one point late in the match when we were watching it, and I use the words totally mundane for the match itself, but there was one geek, and I mean one geek, trying to start a fight forever chant. Ban that man from Full Sail for life. Never let him back in. Now, the finish was 1,000,000 billion stars.
Oh, it was fabulous.
And yet it was not the best spot on the show. So, this all started when they had a match, and Damian Priest had a low blow and won.
Yes.
So, they're building to the finish. Dunn goes to break the fingers. And Priest drags him back to the corner, gets the ref out of position, and tries a low blow. But Pete Dunne is no dummy. He's not going to get beat by the same thing twice. He blocks the kick, and then he's also no angel. He hits a low blow of his own, hooks an arm breaker, and wins.
Not just an arm breaker, he broke the fingers and then arm barred.
Even better.
A double whammy.
Yes, and broken balls.
Yes, and then
So-
he got up and he smirked.
He cut this promo beforehand, a week or two ago, where he said he didn't blame Damian Priest for doing a low blow. He'd have done the same thing. And here, when the opportunity presented itself, he was prepared for Priest's attempt, and then he did the same thing. This followed up on everything.
Yeah.
This is a work of art. And then Killian Dane blindsides Dunn. It leads to a big three-way brawl, which Dane wins. It's a Vader bomb on Dunn in cannonballs Priest into the stairs. And it was funny because he hit the Vader bomb, a move named after Vader, a very, very large man. And Dane's certainly not small, but he's lost a ton of weight. He's much smaller than he used to be.
I don't like to repeat my material, but since they're repeating their material, I'll repeat my material.
Sure.
Killian Dane is the fourth forgotten son. He's just a guy out there doing stuff, and I can't figure out why.
Well,
He's not connecting with me at all. I don't dislike the guy. I think he's a very talented guy. But they have given me absolutely, positively zero reason to care any more about this guy than when, like, he wasn't on TV. He's just randomly showing up and beating dudes up. And now, like, we had this great series. We actually saw 3 Pete Dunne Damian Priest matches. We saw one in Seattle.
Yep.
Now, it's like, I guess they're going to do a 3-way. They're going to throw Killian Dane in there.
this whole Survivor Series weekend seems to be nothing but let's do random 3-ways.
Yeah.
On both shows. It could be a long weekend.
They got to figure something out with this Killian Dane. I don't want the fourth forgotten son. I want him to mean something to me.
Frankly, I don't want the first 3 Forgotten Sons.
And right now, we'll get to that later.
Kathy interviews Dakota Kai. So apparently on one of the weekend shows.
The bump. I don't even know what this is.
The what now?
Honest to God, I could look it up. Like, I could investigate.
Why would you?
But I
You
do
have too much
this
dignity.
for a living. I pay as close attention as I can. I have no idea what the bump is. I don't know if it's on YouTube. I don't know if it's on Facebook. I don't know if it's on FS1. I have no idea who, what, when, where, or why the bump is.
Well,
And again, I could find out, but listen, I need to just know.
yeah.
If this is that important, I should know what the bump is. And I have no idea.
Regardless, on this bump thing, Shayna said Dakota was a waste of a pick at War Games. Now, they never explained until the very end of the show, really, what was going on here. But apparently, Dakota is campaigning to be on Rhea's team in War Games at this point. I don't know.
This all apparently went down on The Bump.
Yeah.
There was an interview with Shayna. They asked, what about Dakota? Shayna said she would be a waste of a pick.
She would be a waste of a pick.
Yes.
I see.
So then Kathy, who is not Sarah, although it took me a while to figure that out.
There's a Sarah?
Yeah, Sarah Schreiber. Right? Don't even tell me there's no Sarah.
You're probably right.
I'm pretty sure there's a Sarah. Anyway, she says, Dakota, what are you looking to prove in your match with Shayna tonight? I'm like, Kathy, or whatever your name is, why don't you just answer the damn question? Because the obvious answer is she's looking to prove that she wouldn't be a wasted pick. And sure enough, Dakota says, I'm looking to prove that I wouldn't be a wasted pick. I know they don't want people to just look into the camera and cut a promo, but it would save a lot of time for everybody involved.
Yeah.
If she just had to say what she needed to say, and you didn't have an interview person asking the most obvious question imaginable so that they could give the most obvious answer possible, we'd all save a lot of time. All I want in my life watching wrestling is just a little more time.
Well, we've already wasted too much time on this promo, but I'm going to talk about it more. Because Dakota did admit that last time she ran into Shayna, yes, she was intimidated. But she's not that person anymore. She's going to prove she deserves to be in the team. She's going to kick Shayna's face off. Now, when Dakota Kai was around and that whole thing with Shayna was going on, you and I called her a geek.
Yes.
People got very upset with us.
Well, she was promoted as a geek.
The story, everyone, the long-term storyline is she was a geek. And now she has been through some stuff. She's grown into a warrior. But she was a geek then.
That's the story.
And she has been great since she came back. So
Because some people, Vinny, you can't say anything about them, or you will be chastised.
I've learned that. Tainara versus Santana Garrett. So I'm watching this match, and for the first few minutes, I'm thinking, dude, Tainara's finally getting better.
That's what I thought, too.
Her stuff looks better. She's got more poise. She's got presence. She looks like a star. And then they do some spot where she's supposed to bounce out of the corner. And she does not run out of the corner. She lurches out like the mummy. It looked really, really, really bad. And shortly thereafter, she won. She did a kick, kind of like Ibushi does, where he grabs the wrists and pulls him into a knee. Something like that with a kick instead.
Yeah, this match was not very good, but I did watch it and think that this was the best Tainara I've ever seen. It's a low bar.
It is, but it's a slow build to Tainara being good.
Well, I mean, this was the first time that I ever saw Tainara, and I thought, you know what? She actually could be something. I've never thought that before. And, to be fair, she really hasn't been doing this very long. It's not like Aaliyah has been doing it for like 6 years or whatever. It's only been a couple of years, and she is getting a little bit better.
Yeah.
But, you know what? This is a perfect segue to this. Let me find out how long Tainara has been doing this. Tainara has been in WWE developmental. She's only 24 years old, so it couldn't have been that long.
Not been that long.
I don't like to hire anybody. All right, so she debuted April 1, 2017, okay?
2.5 years.
It's been 2.5 years. So, she has improved, but she still didn't have a good match,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Okay. On the NWA Power Show on Tuesday night, NWA Power, the former Cobra Moon had a match. Do you remember Cobra Moon?
From Lucha Underground.
Yes.
I don't remember her being very good.
She was horrible.
Okay.
I mean this in the nicest way possible, with all due respect. She was horrible. She was so good in this match on Tuesday. She has improved. Like, she's the new Nigel McGuinness.
I was going to say Nigel. Most improved I ever saw.
I, honest to God, have seen few people. I mean, you could probably say, like, people that are training with Shibata in the New Japan Dojo, but there aren't a lot of people I've seen that were so horrible, like 2 years ago, and are so much better today. It's ridiculous how much better she's gotten. She has gotten 500 times better than Tainara has gotten in the same period of time.
I see.
And you know how she did it? She wrestled in different places all over the world and got better. Tainara's in this system,
yes,
and she's barely gotten better. So, point is, I think this system needs to be reconsidered.
It could be better. It's hard to argue that.
She's not the only one. If she were the only
Of course,
one...
No, that's the thing. She's one symptom of a problem with this developmental system.
Now, the other thing I want to mention, just one spot that was screwed up that I was flabbergasted by. So, Tainara is laying on the canvas, and Santana is going to do a handspring, like Tajiri, into like a back handspring or a moonsault.
Okay.
We'll just say a handspring into a moonsault. Actually, it was a back handspring because her hands are on the mat. She was going to do a handspring into a back handspring.
All right.
And I guess land on her. So she's not supposed to hit her. So Tainara has to roll out of the way.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
All right,
now.
so listen. She can't roll towards Santana's feet because she's still going to get hit.
Yeah. Get hit by the feet.
She's got to roll the other way.
Yes.
But she can't roll the other way because Santana's doing a handspring and her hands are in the way.
Right.
There was no way that she could roll for this to work. And in fact, it didn't work and they both fell down. But I was just watching it thinking, you didn't practice this? Or if you did practice this, how did you pull this off? This was impossible. So anyway.
Had a Tony Nese video package. He's got muscles.
He has some muscles.
Shayna Baszler's warming up backstage with her friends. An Angel Garza video package. Best line here was Mauro noting he oozes machismo, which was, of course, the catchphrase of Scott Hall, who once had a famous match on Nitro with Hector Garza.
True. And he put him over.
Well, I said famous. I didn't say effective. We just got a Survivor Series commercial where, again, I determined this weekend's just going to be nothing but three-ways, all the way up and down both cards. Dakota Kai versus Shayna Baszler. So, here again, this match started out so fun. Dakota's a great house of fire. She's running wild with the most old school crap. Big, giant, flying mare. This is the best thing ever. And finally, Shayna catches her on the apron, slams her leg into the post, and begins tearing her leg apart. And she's just the best bully. I love Shayna. Then we go to commercial, and when we come back, there's a double down.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
What the hell happened?
I have no idea.
I missed a key point in the match.
Yes, we always do.
Yes.
We miss how they get the heat. We miss how they set up the comeback. Is it that hard to put a commercial during the heat so you don't miss how you set up the heat or how you set up the comeback? 2 key points in a match.
So then they came back and they're doing stuff and Dakota runs wild. And then every single camera, iPhone, Samsung Galaxy, everything with a recording capability in this building was used for a shot in this match. I counted 11 camera cuts in 20 seconds at one point.
Wow.
I was just fuming, including Bryan. We've talked about how there has to be a camera cut every time anyone hits anybody else. A punch, a kick, a knee, an elbow. Yes, last week, even a spank. The camera must cut on impact. The referee drops down to make it count, and she counts 1, and there's a camera cut. And she raises her hand and counts 2, and there's a camera cut. Are they worried they're going to expose that she's not hitting the mat hard enough? What is going on?
I don't know.
Unwatchable. So eventually, Dakota escapes the Karafuda clutch one time, but Shayna goes right back to it, and Shayna wins. Here was where I wrote, this may have been a good match, but between the commercials and the camera cuts, I could barely actually see it.
I need to ask around and find out if they've done something with the production crew, because I don't seem to remember in the old NXT there being all of these camera cuts for every single solitary thing.
It's recent. It's since they went to 2 hours, roughly.
I don't like that.
Then there's more.
I did like the finish. I thought the match was good and the finish was good, but I cannot.
I just want to watch wrestling. I don't feel like that's an unreasonable request to make.
During a wrestling show on national television, that's not an unreasonable request.
No. I was going to say also on the network, but they're on national TV now. So they do have to have some commercials, but God. Then there's a big giant brawl. I would love to tell you what happened, but I don't have any idea. I am told that Team Ripley has run down the ramp, but then I am told that Io is fighting Candice. So does that mean Io is on Team Ripley and is fighting her own partner? I don't know. Now, on top of all this, every single woman in the segment was either dressed all in black or had a black top on and blue jeans. So I had no idea who was who. I had no idea who was on whose side. I had zero idea what was going on in this brawl. Eventually, Mia Yim arrives and she has blue hair, so I could pick her out. She beats up everybody with a stick, sends everyone packing, and only at seriously the last shot of all of this did I realize Tegan Knox had even been a part of it.
Yeah, she was out there.
This was a terrible brawl.
It was funny because, right when everybody ran out, Candice started running, and then she stopped and started running the other direction. Well, then they cut away.
She was confused, too.
So, here's what I got out of it. Team Ripley... Well, first the heels attacked Dakota. Team Ripley tried to make the save. Io and Bianca ran down, attacked them, so they're on the same team. Mia Yim ran in with a kendo stick, ran roughshod. Fans went nuts for Mia's run-in. So, keep in mind, by the way, that Team Ripley, as we're about to find out here, does not choose Dakota Kai to be on their team, but they did still come out and save her here.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. That is actually an important point. You get a recap of NXT invading SmackDown, and then Ciampa gets a promo with Lee and Riddle, who I guess are his partners for War Games, and they need a fourth man. That's still left open by the end of this promo. He tells the OC, the door is wide open. I thought, did he miss the beginning of the show when they were already walked in? He's inviting someone who's already in the building. Isaiah Scott hype video.
By the way, we got a War Games where we're waiting for the final members for 2 female War Games teams and 1 male's War Games team.
Yeah. It's
okay.
It's not very original, no, or creative. Tony Nese versus Angel Garza, with the winner getting a cruiserweight title shot. So by the end of this, the champion had come out, but I was struggling to remember who the cruiserweight champion was.
It's Leo Rush.
It is Leo Rush.
You know, I'm sure everybody listening to this right now, at some point in their lives, somebody has said, "You're a hypocrite." Right?
I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been accused of being a hypocrite. You have as well.
Yes. Yeah.
For one of the rare times of my life, I was watching this and I accused myself of being a hypocrite.
That is unusual.
Because I was watching this match, and I liked the match, okay? But when I'm watching this match, all I can think is, it's just a bunch of moves.
Yes! You stole my speech. But
yes.
That's great.
It's they're just doing moves. You do a move, I do a move. You do a move, I do a move. We'll do moves for 10 minutes, and then somebody's going to win, okay? It's like a video game.
Yeah.
So I'm watching it, and I'm kind of mildly irritated.
Yes!
I'm this isn't even really a match. It's just moves. Which, by the way, all people in WWE complain about is that everybody else only does moves.
Yes.
There's no storytelling.
This was a moves match.
This was just a moves match. But then I realized, Bryan, what are you saying? All you do is complain about how the match starts, and all of a sudden somebody grabs a hold, and then it's every single match is exactly the same WWE pattern. You hate that. Now you're seeing a match that's not that, and you're irritated by it. Can you be happy? That's what I asked myself.
Well, Bryan, I'm going to agree with your first version. Because
Yes.
it's possible that both of these things are in fact bad.
Well, yes, there is a middle ground where...
And it's hard. Wrestling is hard, everyone.
Well, it is hard. But I mean, the middle ground is you can have a very good match, but not just lay on the mat in holds for 10 minutes
yes.
that have nothing to do with the rest of the match.
So, the match begins... The early portion of this match actually did have a story, which is what I assume was going to be the best gimmick in all of 2019, which is Angel Garza's tearaway pants.
Yes.
It's the best, easiest thing I've seen in years. He comes out in his pants. Everyone knows he's going to tear the pants off and he's going to have trunks underneath. He wrestles for a minute, and he did some great chain wrestling. And when he just decided the time was right, and he throws on the brakes. He throws his hand up, and Nese pauses because he's taking it back. And Angel begins to undo his trousers. And he says, "Oh no, to hell with you." And he cuts him off. And it's such easy heat because the pants are over. So when he's about to tear his tearaway pants off, the crowd's going crazy. And then Nese cuts him off and they'll boo. And I thought, what's the simplest thing in the world? So they've established that the pants are there. They have teased that the pants are coming off. And then there will be the payoff when the pants actually are removed. And I'm going through, I'm thinking in my head, how many different ways can they tear these off? I wanted to somehow do a kip up and tear the pants off in mid-kip. they had an even better idea, which is they're fighting on the top rope, and Nice goes for a super flipping powerbomb up the top rope, like a sunset flip into a powerbomb. And he grabs him, and he jumps, and he flips, and he powerbombs just the pants.
So amazing.
And he's left looking at them, and the place is going crazy, and Angel has this big move, and I thought that was fantastic. They've done a great job of getting Angel's pants over, making Tony look like a goof who powerbombed pants, and Angel eventually gave the fans what they wanted. Fantastic.
Yeah, but you know what? Should have been the finish.
It should have been... Actually, it would have been a great finish. That's true.
He should have pulled the pants off, been totally baffled. The man disappeared, turns around, gets hit with the wing clipper, 1, 2, 3.
Yes, that would have been better. So what they did instead was 10 minutes of random back and forth stuff. At no point after the powerbomb of the pants, at no point was I given any reason to care or cheer or boo about Tony Nese or cheer or boo Angel Garza. They were two random anonymous guys doing stuff. All the stuff looked cool. If you like gymnastics, you would like this match.
Hey, listen, if you love this all-move style, this was the match for you.
Yes.
And some people do. More power to them.
So they went back and forth. They did 100 contrived counters and setups, and Garza won with, yes, his move is called the wing clipper.
Yeah.
It's wacky. I wrote, this was a good match that should have been much better. And then Leo comes out to confront Angel Garza, the champion and his challenger. That's all well and good. And then Angel slaps him in the face and walks off like a dick.
Yeah.
So he's got the gimmick that everyone loves, and they love to cheer for, and it's the easy heat spot in the world and the easiest pop in the world when he finally tears his pants off. And I was wrestling like a heel.
I think he's supposed to be a heel.
Well,
but everybody loves him because he takes his pants off.
They need to give up on him being a heel.
And
the crowd loves him. Go with it.
They do.
So this did, in fact, irritate me. Kathy interviews Rhea and her friends.
This was among the best things on the entire show.
Rhea makes a decision. Again, this is news to me that apparently Candice and Tegan were already on her team.
Yes.
I didn't know she was looking for a fourth member until like right now. I guess Dakota had mentioned wanting to be on the team earlier, but I didn't know Tegan and Candice were on it. Regardless, she says the fourth member is Mia Yim. And everyone's all happy.
She says, Dakota, I'm sorry. You just didn't make the cut.
And Dakota, even before this announcement, Dakota's puppy dog-eyed. She's sad and forlorn. But she takes this news and she tries to make a graceful exit to let Team Rhea be a team. So it's Rhea Ripley, Tegan Knox, Candice LeRae, I almost said Candice Michelle, and Mia Yim versus Shayna Baszler, Jessamine Duke, Marina Shafir, and they have an opening for a fourth person. And now there's a kicker who may have impressed Shayna available.
You know what they could do is, I'd have to think about this more, but I just thought about this right now. Like, there needs to be a deal where, the day of War Games, Mia Yim gets attacked by the heels and her leg is torn apart. She can't compete. So Rhea's forced to ask Dakota, will you be on our team now? After she'd been shunned?
Yes.
And then either have her come out at the very end as the last person for the big babyface pop, or she just says, screw you, turns heel, and they get beaten.
Well, I'm thinking she'll be so mad that she will go to Shayna and be in
can do that too.
Their team, yes.
There's a lot of things you can do. This is a good storyline because there's a lot of cool things you could do.
This is a good storyline because there's a lot of cool things you can do, and everyone is acting in a believable, realistic manner.
It's not like this Lashley Rusev storyline with Lana. It's like, name one cool thing they could do. Nothing. It's just dumb.
Isaiah Scott versus...
I can think of one thing, but they ain't going to do that.
They're not doing that one. No. Isaiah Scott versus Dominic Dijakovic. So it just occurred to me what this match was. We saw this match in Seattle. Almost immediately, Dijakovic started bleeding. They patched him up as best they could.
That's right, yeah.
And sent him out to do the last 4 minutes of a great 20-minute match, which is what they did. They sent him out here on TV. There was no blood. Everything went according to plan. They still did the last 4 minutes of a great 20-minute match. It was bizarre. Dijakovic's taking these bumps in the apron and doing inside-out flip bumps for clotheslines. I'm like, you just started. Why are you...
I was baffled because they just spotted the end where Swerve hits a reverse Frankensteiner, double foot stomp on the apron, big lariat for the pin, throws him inside. Dijakovic, who just took, by the way, a reverse Frankensteiner, a double foot stomp on the apron, and a big lariat. He throws him inside, and Dijakovic then lariats him. Swerve does a full flip bump off this lariat, hops to his feet, does a double foot stomp of his own, doesn't collapse.
No.
He just keeps going, runs and leaps for his finish. Dijakovic gets feasterized for the finish. This was that Angel Garza match on steroids. It was like, not only is it move, but none of the moves even work.
No, they're all invulnerable. This was the final fight scene in Man of Steel when Superman and Zod are destroying a city and can't hurt each other.
I'm just baffled because do you know how many great Swerve matches I've seen in my lifetime?
A bunch.
And now he goes to NXT and they're making him do this weird thing.
It's quite bizarre. Oh, speaking of bizarre.
When they trolled us?
Dude.
They trolled you and me next.
It's November of 2019. They're still pushing the Forgotten Sons.
Yes.
We had a Forgotten Sons hype video.
They showed a video package that ended with, "We will not be forgotten."
Now, I need to explain this to people.
If I found out that they had a way to only broadcast that to me, I would be convinced.
Sure.
Like a localized promo.
For those of you who missed this show, which I'm almost, unless it went to you and me only, I'm pretty sure everyone who saw this saw it. But anyway, if you missed this show and you know who the Forgotten Sons are, you may think, well, maybe they're reacting to a recent win or a loss. Or maybe they've gotten a new look or a new catchphrase.
No!
This could have aired 3 years ago.
It probably did.
It may well have.
I have no proof this is new.
It's three mean, surly guys with scraggly beards who don't want to be forgotten. They've advanced no further. It's kind of amazing. It's kind of impressive when you think about it.
Yeah.
This is...
It's their Roman Reigns, except they're not main eventers.
Do you know how hard it is to be this stagnant?
No,
Eventually, you think
I've seen it plenty of times in my
you
lifetime.
think they go one way or the other somehow. So next week,
I still don't know which Christ is which. They're on Impact now.
I don't know if that matters. Do you at least know their names?
One's Jake, I think, but I forgot the other one.
Last time I checked, it was Jake and Dave.
Dave, that's right, it's Dave, that's for sure.
All right. So next week, in a match that I can only assume was booked by a 13-year-old who just got his hands on whatever the new video game is. So they're doing war games where one team needs to have the advantage. And so to determine which team has the advantage, it's Mia Yim versus Io Shirai in a ladder match. So I guess Io is taking the fourth place in the horsewomen team.
Yeah.
So that idea I had won't work. So never mind. Regardless, a ladder match to determine who gets the advantage in a War Games match.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sure.
And of course, Angel Garza versus Leo Rush for the
I guess there's
title.
a piece of paper above the ring. Or
Yeah,
maybe a coin.
That is a great...
A double-sided coin is above the ring.
That would be beautiful. I didn't even think about what we hanging above the ring in this ladder match. What are they
Dude,
going to
listen,
grab?
if AEW can do a bronze medal match with bronze medals,
We'll get to that, believe you me.
they can
We'll get to
hang
that.
a coin above a double-headed coin. So the winning team gets the double-headed coin for the coin flip. That's what this should be.
What about a giant sign that says advantage?
Sure. A big check.
The main
Page
event.
the order of advantage.
Main event. The OC versus Tommaso Ciampa. The OC versus Tommaso Ciampa and Matt Riddle and Keith Lee. Now, I like NXT. I've liked NXT for many years. I like most of the guys in this show. So I don't mean this to be disrespectful to anyone, but as soon as these guys are out there, in particular AJ Styles, Tommaso Ciampa, and Matt Riddle, but also the club, the gap between them, the guys who are really smooth, experienced, polished pro wrestlers, and everyone else in developmental, you realize they are in fact still developing. It was crystal clear. So this match is awesome. It was mainly Ciampa and AJ. They got heat on Ciampa, I believe. And it's a very good trios match. It's a very good old school, cut the ring off, 3 heels beating up one guy, and the 3 heels are outsiders, so of course they're booed. There's a lot of heat for this. Everything's going great. And then Matt Riddle gets a hot tag.
Oh my God, the place came unglued.
Was this not the best one-man comeback in the history of Full Sail?
It was
He's
up there.
flying everywhere. He's striking everywhere. He's suplexing everything. Place is going nuts. It's just brilliant. And then we get AJ Styles versus Matt Riddle for a while. Now, I thought this whole show was like good but irritating. And up to this point in the main event, I was just like weeping. I was so happy to watch all this. And then they did what I legitimately... I swear to God, I mean this. This may have been the best ref bump I ever saw.
That's what I said.
I need to explain this in detail.
This was the greatest ref bump ever.
So AJ is on the apron, Riddle's in the ring. AJ, from the apron, hits a jumping forearm, and then raises up his arm and adjusts the elbow to indicate the phenomenal forearm is coming. He goes to jump. Riddle ducks underneath. AJ rolls through and hits the ropes. Now, while this is going on, the monstrous 300-plus pound Keith Lee has returned to the ring. And as AJ hits the ropes going west, Keith Lee hits the ropes going north. And so he comes off the ropes at the exact perfect time to waylay AJ Styles with a pounce. But the referee, Drake Younger,
Yes.
had placed himself. This is so beautiful. He was walking. It wasn't like he was running the ropes, but he was walking in the same space, like perpendicular to where AJ was running, so he couldn't see Keith Lee. So Keith Lee clobbers AJ, who clobbers Drake, who goes flying ass over tea kettle, feet and arms and head flying everywhere, and goes splat on the mat. This was amazing. Perfect setup, perfect timing, perfect execution by all 4 dudes involved.
Yes.
This is seriously like the best thing any of these men ever did.
To simplify this for everybody, AJ went for the forearm. He hit the ropes.
I don't want to simplify it.
Keith Lee hit the ropes on the other side and pounced him into the referee, who went flying off the planet.
This needs to be explained in detail to understand how many things they got
Well, yes,
right.
but I want to simplify it so people can at least imagine what happened. Then we can get in all the details. Hey, listen, I've never done this before, but I am inducting Drake Wirtz, I believe is his NXT name. Drake Wirtz ref bump in this match into the Hall of Awesome.
Amen.
Yes. The first time a move,
Yes,
not even a move, a bump has been put into the Hall of Awesome. This deserves it.
And frankly, if you want to put him in just as a referee, I'm fine with that too. But
We had not talked about this one bit before this show, and we both independently saw and agreed it was the greatest ref bump of all
we
time.
watched this show 24 hours and dozens of miles apart.
Yes.
And we came to that same conclusion. So it's a big train wreck spot of dives. Everyone kills himself. Ciampa is going for the fairy tale ending when Finn Balor interrupts. And then I was all in love with this show when Adam Cole hits the ring. Yes? My notes are a lot happened here. My notes are confused.
All right, so what happened was Ciampa went for his finish on
Balor
AJ,
went after
but
Riddle on the
Finn's
floor.
music
Yes,
hit.
yes. Okay.
Finn kills Riddle with the 1916. He and AJ did the Bullet Club salute. AJ went for the Styles Clash on Ciampa. Cole hit the ring, super kicked him, but then Ciampa hit Ciampa with the last shot. And then the show ended.
That's the key.
They didn't even have a finish.
You couldn't... First of all, God bless these men, and they were big stars. You couldn't pin Gallows or Anderson in this trios match on NXT. Or, fine, you want to have a bunch of guys run in, you want to have a distraction, you want to have Adam Cole hit guys with his finishers. You can't ring the bell and call it a DQ. This show ends with Adam Cole's music playing. He wasn't even in the match.
No count.
This was no count.
Yeah, I was pretty furious, I won't lie.
This put me back in my bad mood.
Yeah.
The wrestling in this main event was out of this world great. The booking sucked.
I think the idea is like, We gave you so much great stuff, you won't even remember that there wasn't a finish. Wrong.
Very wrong. That's the opposite of all you're going to remember is the last thing that happens.
Yeah. Now, listen, there was some great stuff. The match was great. Finn, I guess, joining forces with the Bullet Club. Like the Bullet Club reuniting Finn Balor, AJ Styles, and the OC. It's going to be great. I mean, eventually, clearly they're going to do a 4-on-4 of some nature. I mean, that should be the War Games.
It feels like.
That's what it should be.
It feels like, because they've done 3-way War Games before, and it feels like this was a build for one.
Well, this was all a very last-minute thing. I mean, they came up with an idea on Monday for Wednesday. And it actually wasn't even, I don't think, this idea. So there's some other stuff that they're going to do with the OC and AJ. But, yeah, this was really good. But they've got a direction they're going, and they're going to stick with that direction. This is merely something else that they're doing, in addition to everything else that they've planned for a long time. That's what's going on here. So... there you go. NXT, everybody.
I had very strongly mixed emotions about that show.
I did too.
There was so much good stuff and so much easy stuff that was bad.
I've said it a million times. I don't want to be reminded of the main roster at all when I watch NXT. Not for 1 second. That means I don't want to see a Survivor Series commercial. I don't want to see a Crown Jewel commercial. I don't want to see a recap of what happened on Raw and SmackDown. I realize you kind of can't get away with that because the NXT guys went to Raw and SmackDown. But I don't want main roster interviews. I don't want main roster like promos. I don't want main roster finishes. I don't want anything that reminds me of this main roster. The main roster is uncool right now. It's the last thing this company needs is to have the main roster stain on them. I tweeted something last night. There was a Dakota Kai interview after the show. And I tweeted, "This geek primed for the main roster with compelling questions like these." I still don't know who this guy is, but apparently he got mad at me for that.
He did?
Yeah. And like all I can think is, dude,
ask better questions.
why are you mad at me?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Why are you mad at me that I'm mad at the stupid questions that your character has to ask? You asked, I don't even remember off the top of my head, but it was like, what emotions are you feeling right now, Dakota? And then the other question was, it was something stupid like, do you feel that this proves that you were a bad pick? It was something like that is just like, come on. No normal human being is ever going to ask anybody a question like that in a real sporting event. Ever.
Yeah.
Ever, ever, ever. If you're mad that I thought you were a geek for asking that question, then you should be mad at whoever had you ask that stupid question. Not me. I'm just the viewer. Anyway.
We also watched AEW Dynamite, November 6th, 2019.
I'm sure he's a nice guy. I have nothing against him. I'm just sick of these interviewers asking stupid questions on every WWE show that I have to watch. I'm going to go after every single one of them. It's their characters. You understand, Vinny? Do you understand?
That's what we're here to critique.
I realize that we've got this roster today that cannot stand up for themselves, okay? But if you are an interview person on WWE television, can't you just say, can I maybe ask this question? I mean, can you not stand up for yourself in any way when they give you this stupid dialogue to ask people? Really? I'm very upset about this. Every show I have to watch, and it's every interview person is so dumb. They ask the dumbest questions to the talent. It makes me as a viewer feel stupid. Then I watch Dasha on AEW Dark, and she's like, it's unfathomable that that's Dasha. It is the biggest expose of the main roster of WWE, and now NXT as well. Stand up for yourself and say, you know what? This question's kind of dumb. Don't even say that. There's got to be a way that you can say, can I ask a different question that's not so stupid? Anyway, I apologize. Sometimes I get away from myself. Is that the term?
You get a wild hair.
I get a wild hair. All right, let's do this.
AEW Dynamite, also November 6th, 2019. We open with Pac versus Trent. Now, Pac, of course, is very good. That is not news. But he's doing this match, and I had like a bolt of lightning epiphany.
He's good?
It's not just that he's good. He is Tony Nese if Tony Nese knew what he was doing.
Wow. Even I didn't say something that.
They are very similar in size. They have very similar physiques. Tony Nese is a hell of an athlete. I don't know if he may not be as good as Pac, but he can do a lot of cool stuff. There's no doubt about that. But his match, I'm watching it and thinking, there's two random men doing stuff. I'm watching Pac's match, and I'm thinking, this guy is a bastard. He confronts Orange Cassidy, who of course is beloved. They didn't even do anything first. He just got in his face and everyone booed. Then when he's doing the match, he's a complete bully and an asshole. He's tearing Trent apart. It's all brawling. It's all manhandling. It's all stomping. He's not doing anything cool. He's just taking this guy apart violently. And then right before the comeback, he does one big dive. Actually, I take that back. It was shortly before the comeback. But the point is, he does one big dive out of the ring. The place goes nuts. Throws him in, does one big dropkick off the top, and the place is going nuts. And he looks at them, and he snarls, and he puts on a headlock. Because he's the bad guy. You're supposed to boo him. That doesn't mean he bores you, but it means he can do cool stuff, but doesn't overwhelm you with it and doesn't do it at random. He does it so you get excited, and he puts on a headlock to ground his opponent and make you mad at him for not doing anything cool. I think this week was the first time I've noticed the corner cam.
That's been there.
They have a camera mounted in the corner. I hadn't noticed it before. It's really cool, and they use it at the right times. So, the finish, and this actually should have been foreshadowing.
I can explain the finish.
Well, before we get to the finish, there's something else. They're going to do an in-ring confrontation between Orange Cassidy and Pac. So Orange Cassidy gets in the ring, and then Chucky takes the ref. So poor timing there. But Orange does his shtick of softly kicking one leg and softly kicking the other and rearing back for the super kick. And the place loves Orange Cassidy, and they're all going crazy, and he steps back to do his big super kick, and Pac just hauls off and does the best bicycle kick to the face. Just punts him in the face, and suddenly Orange is not Orange Cassidy anymore. He's whatever the unmasked Chikara Ant is. He's on the floor. He's hiding his face. His sunglasses are gone. He doesn't care. It's the saddest day ever in Orange Cassidy land. It's the best. They go on a little bit more, and then it is finally time for the finish. That distraction, by the way, the Orange Cassidy spot, that led to Trent making his comeback, because then the crowd really wanted to see Pac get his ass kicked. So Trent whips his ass until Pac catches him with a brainbuster on the floor, which is gorgeous. And then he goes up top, and he hits the Black Arrow. And Brian, why don't you then explain what happened next?
Well, it actually goes back earlier than that.
Right.
So he hits the brainbuster on the floor, and here's what actually happened. He throws Trent in. He climbs to the top slower than I've ever seen someone climb to the top rope. That's when I knew something weird was going on, because he climbed the ropes really, really slowly. And then when he got up there, he stood there forever. And then finally he does the Black Arrow. The ref counts 2 and stops his count, but Trent doesn't kick out. And then Pac puts him in his brutalizer for the submission. So I was like, what in the hell happened there? Apparently this is what happened. They had 4 more minutes of stuff that they were going to do. They were told, you got to go home. This must have been outside. It was right around this time they were told to go home. So I think what happened was, when they were told to go home, I guess there was just confusion as to, should we go home now? Or, what should we do? So Pac was supposed to do a 450. Trent would kick out, and then he would put him in the brutalizer. I guess that's what... I know he was supposed to do a 450. So instead, because they were told to go home, he did the Black Arrow. And Trent, because it was the Black Arrow and not the 450, must have thought, I'll stay down. That's his finish.
Yeah.
So he stayed down, but the ref stopped because the ref was expecting him to kick out.
Nobody's smarting the ref up.
That's where everything went wrong.
Yeah.
They got a time call at the last second and had to make decisions, and everybody made a decision, and unfortunately they were all not on the same page.
This was such an absolutely perfect TV wrestling match until literally the very, very, very end.
Yes.
Oh well. Stuff happens. So then packed as a promo, he heard Hangman Page's naughty swear word. It'll make no difference. Hangman Page, I am going to make an example of you again. Pack is awesome.
Yeah.
Tony interviews Cody. So Cody begins a brief speech about how he wants Jericho and his crew around because they want the best in all elite wrestling. Then he gives us all a history lesson of men like Eddie Graham and Cowboy Bill Watts and the American Dream Dusty Rhodes. And they were all great wrestlers. They were great superstars. They were all great draws. And they were also management. And they had to deal with the critique and the criticisms of being giant headlining stars who were also management, just like himself. Talks about how proud he is of AEW. Says it is Ellis Island for a pro wrestler. It is freedom. The crowd's telling him he deserves it. So finally he says to get around this conflict of interest of being management and a top star, if he does not defeat Chris Jericho and win the AEW World Championship at Full Gear, he will never challenge for the AEW Championship again. Jericho, he says, you called me an entitled millennial. I missed reading that in your book, which is available right now on Amazon for $3.
Huge pop.
It was awesome. Mainly because I'm sure we all think it's true. He says, you accused me of growing up with a silver spoon because I was the son of a famous wrestler. Well, you were the son of a famous hockey player. We had the same background. Quote, you stupid dick. That's the best line. Says, you're a carny succubus. You need this generation more than it needs you. This is not about my dad. It's not about the dead. It's about the living, me, my wife, my mom, my brother, the 14 years it took to get here. At Full Gear, he says, I'm going to beat you, and you tell the inner circle that the elite is coming. It's going to be a match beyond, and we are going to eat you alive. And the place just goes crazy and eats all of this up with a spoon. That silver spoon, in fact. This was a great, great, great promo. So,
I should add, by the way, that it's not $3 on Amazon.
you've done the research?
$7.99.
Cody, you lied to me.
Yes. It might have been $3 yesterday, and they were like, up that price.
That's possible.
All over TBS right
You
now.
may have turned the market.
So I don't know what's going to happen, but once he added the stipulation, I just presume he's winning. I could be wrong, but this guy, he's like a cult leader, but a benevolent one.
Yeah?
He whipped these fans into a frenzy. They are going to live and die with him on Saturday night. And I just can't imagine him losing and then ultimately going back on his word.
I don't know what they're going to do. Because frankly, it seems too early to do.
It is absolutely too early to be Chris
It's too
Jericho.
early to do anything.
It's too early to beat Jericho. This should be a long chase.
It's too early to have MJF turn on him. It's too early for
I thought that was happening, by the way, when I watched this show.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It feels too early to do any of this. Now, I assume this is not a panic move. I assume they have a plan for where this is going to go, and a storyline that will probably pay off. A storyline that will probably pay off in 2021 or something. But it's intriguing, that's for sure.
I mean, they could always... I don't like this idea that I'm about to give here, but they could always have him win, and then they announce a Jericho-Cody rematch on TV Wednesday. MJF turns on him. Jericho wins the title. So, like Cody was the champion.
That'd be a very Nitro thing to
but
do.
it was immediately taken away from him.
Yeah.
He never got a chance to be the champion. And then he feuds with MJF forever. And you do a slow build to him getting that second chance. I don't like that idea, but I'm trying to think of ideas because Jericho should be the champion. But I think that Cody has to win this match because of the stipulation.
Dark Order versus Private Party. So
Did you notice, by the way, that Evil Uno is now covered head to toe?
Evil Uno's,
This is not a coincidence.
well,
This is a decree.
Evil Uno's, well, we'll just say it. He has the worst physique in the roster. I think that's fair. And he was shirtless before. He's not shirtless now. I kind of liked him, honestly, as this big, maxed fatty.
Well, that's fine if he's just a big masked fatty, but he's a main event tag team wrestler.
They have plans for him, so So I skipped the entrances. So when this match started, I didn't really understand the stakes, which were twofold. First of all, they're doing a three-way, because apparently all title matches in 2019 must be three-ways now. Three-way at the pay-per-view between SCU, the first place finishers in the tag team tournament and the reigning tag team champions, the Lucha Brothers, the second place finishers in the tag team tournament. And so this match here is the two semifinal losers against each other for third place.
Yes.
And they have medals.
Yes.
Bronze medals that say third.
Loved it.
Joy.
Yeah.
Just pure joy I had of this. We need more third place medals in sporting
Dude,
events.
when I first saw the medals, I thought that the winning team was in the three-way. So that's
yes.
why they had the three. And then they explained, no,
Yes.
this is the bronze medal match. And there are medals. Loved it.
So they had 1,000 tags in this match, 1,000 hot tags in this match, in fact, by both teams.
Oh my God. Allow me. They're still over Private Party.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how. Okay. I'm not making up what happened in this match. So they get heat on Cassidy for a while. They're beating on him. And Mark Quinn gets the hot hand. And he leaps into the ring
Yes.
ahead of steam. And he runs right into a lariat. And he's dead.
Yep.
The most ineffective, like the most jobber hot tag you've ever seen. Even the announcers are like, man.
This was something Barry Horowitz would do, or George South.
So he gets killed.
Yeah.
And he sells, but then like a minute later, he just makes a comeback anyway. Which begs the question, like, why did you do that spot where you hit the ring and got killed?
There was a lot of, well, frankly, yeah, none of what happened in this match mattered. When Dark Order did their 450 splash / cannonball in the corner combo,
Yes.
that was the coolest thing of the whole match. It should have been the finish because they weren't going over.
Now, there was another tag, and I can't remember who it was. It actually might have been one of the heels, which is at least a little bit better, but somebody got a hot tag, and they did a springboard. Their first move is get the hot tag, go for a springboard. And they got super kicked out of midair 2 times in this match.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure it was Cassidy. I think it was both. I think both of Private Party got a hot tag where they were immediately killed.
They need to learn that there's things that are entertaining and funny that you still shouldn't do.
Sure.
If you're the baby faces, your job is not to make people laugh at you.
I laughed uproariously at those two.
So, also Evil Uno in this match did a one-winged angel onto the knee.
Yeah.
Which is way, way, way too similar to the finisher of the guy you're pushing as the long-term biggest star in the company.
Yes.
I would have him not do that move ever again. Eventually, Private Party wins with the Gin and Juice, which is the top rope Rana into a cutter for the win.
We didn't mention this, but on the NXT show, speaking of stealing moves, many times I have seen Keith Lee do the leapfrog drop down drop kick.
Yes.
AJ's spot.
Yes.
Well, he's in the ring with AJ. And this time, which he's done before, it was a leapfrog drop down crossbody.
Yes. Gotta switch him up, Brian.
He definitely switched him up that night.
Catch him off guard. Yeah. So after the match, Private Party have won. They get their medals, and SCU is in the ring with their belts and their medals, and the Lucha Brothers are on the apron with their medals, because these are prizes and trophies to be won and displayed with pride. That was my favorite part of the whole match. This match was fun, but boy, was it chaotic.
It was chaotic. It was the most green that Private Party has ever looked. But the fans, they so badly want this to work that they just accepted everything, and they went nuts for the finish, and they love Private Party, and it's only been like 3 weeks, and right now Private Party is like 10 times as over as the, on Raw, what's their names?
Street Profits.
Street Profits, yeah.
So, sometime back, there was a Cody Rhodes hype video on Dynamite. First episode of the second episode, I don't quite remember, but a month or so has passed, and it is time to spoof it. And so Chris Jericho does his hype video. This was his hype video, his personal go-home segment.
Yes.
For his title defense against Cody Rhodes, at their first pay-per-view since Dynamite debuted. So
this company has no writers.
I assume this was all Jericho.
It was. Chris Jericho had a great idea.
Oh, he did. And he had a great idea. And as that great idea was like the trunk of a tree, and each branch of that tree was also a further great idea.
Yes.
Every detail of this was fantastic. So he is sitting alone, deep in thought, when his wife, essentially, Sammy Guevara, comes in asking which bubbly he wants. One has more flavor, one has fewer carbs. And Jericho just says,
go for the low carb one.
Either one's fine. And he kisses Sammy, like Cody kissed Brandon in that video. And then, whereas Cody went to go to a float to clear his mind, Jericho gets in the tub with his hat and his scarf and the bubbly. They make a series of experts doing sit-down interviews. Cody had the announcers, his longtime family friends, Tony Schiavone, Jim Ross, his brother, of course. Jericho first has Sammy Guevara.
Yes.
Then we hear the words, a scratchy voice, someone talking about what a great champion he is. Soul Train Jones.
Yes.
Who is better known, slightly, as Virgil in the World Wrestling Federation.
Do you realize that because of this video, I believe this is the most over Virgil has ever been?
Oh, I'm sure. There's no doubt. Maybe the very one time he actually turned on Ted DiBiase.
Maybe.
It was a big, but
he had the best line in. I would argue he had the best line in the whole video. And Sammy had the great line about Jericho's 48 and the youngest AEW champion in history.
Yeah.
I actually think Virgil had a better line.
When you compared Chris Jericho's talent to the breadsticks at Olive Garden.
Unlimited.
Chris Jericho's aunt's friend said she knew Chris growing up. She always knew he would be the AEW World Champion.
Yes.
Everything's delivered totally deadpan.
Oh, yeah.
That's the key to making all this work. No, they didn't slap you in the face. There was no announcers elbowing each other and saying, this company has only been around. He's the only champion. Of course, the youngest champion. They didn't explain to you the joke. Because they don't think you're dumb.
Well, the other thing is, they turned up the crowd.
Yes.
And the crowd's reaction to this made it even better.
So we got a laugh track.
They turned down the announcers. Pardon me. They turned down the announcers. So, like, we didn't have this Michael Cole laughing at everything.
Yes.
It was so great.
We didn't even get to when they cut to Jake Hager for his thoughts, and he just stands there and looks mean.
Yes. How about Patricia, Chris's aunt's friend from church, who says, I know Jericho will beat the shit out of Cody at Full Gear.
And they go to Jericho. He's very tired. He's got a lot in his mind. And he says, it's very difficult to wake up every day and realize how great I am. This went on for a while. And the point of it is, Jericho is not sweating this match with Cody.
No!
For Cody, it's the most important moment of his entire life.
Yes.
For Jericho, it's Saturday.
That's another argument. Here's some more arguments. I don't think that, Jericho's the greatest champion in wrestling right now. By far. He's just the greatest. He should not be losing this title. Okay? But if he's going to lose the title, he is the ultimate cocky heel taking this match lightly. It's everything in Cody's life. I mean, Cody kind of would look like a geek if he managed to lose this match to a guy who's just nothing but comedy. Another key that they never mentioned, which may not even have anything to do with anything, but it is Jericho's birthday Saturday.
Oh.
Do you know what he could do with "You took my title on my birthday"? There's plenty that can be done here. But yes, this was one of those things where it was almost like too good. Like it's going to make the guy a babyface.
Yes, yeah.
But, okay, if he had done this before the Hangman match, I think this might have been a problem. Because it's the Hangman. And the people are like, they like the Hangman.
Oh, yeah.
But they weren't super into the Hangman.
Sure.
Cody is so over.
They're in
as
his
the
cult.
babyface David Koresh.
Yeah.
That this guy can do this and he's still the heel. Like, people can like it and they can laugh at it and everything like that, but they're still supporting Cody. It's not like when this was over, they were like, oh, now I want Jericho to win. I hope he kicks Cody's ass.
Oh.
Nobody's thinking that.
They knew he was a funny geek.
Yes.
So this was, if you haven't gotten the point by now, this was the funniest thing that was supposed to be funny on a wrestling show I've seen in I don't know how long.
Probably decades.
This is a masterpiece.
Cody and Jericho, if it does not win Feud of the Year, like, what went wrong?
I don't know.
It's like the feud of the decade.
Don't know.
The greatest babyface, the greatest heel.
I'm sure they're going to have a great
promo
match.
that Jericho cut a few weeks ago, the promo that Cody cut tonight, this video. How could anything else win the Feud of the Year? What else is there?
I don't have an answer. We have a recap of the tragedy of Ricky Morton being thrown through the stage last week. They run down the pay-per-view card, which you have not been paying attention. The Young Bucks versus the Proud and Powerful. I wrote PNP, and I forgot what the PNP stands for. I think it's Proud and Powerful. The Lucha Brothers versus SCU versus Private Party. John Moxley versus Kenny Omega in a lights-out match. And Chris Jericho versus Cody for the AEW World title. And then they, unironically, without any wink or hint of anything weird, thank Fozzy for the official song for the pay-per-view.
Yes.
Jamie Hayter and Emi Sakura versus Shauna and Rio. This was so weird. So, Emi Sakura is either she's either a horrible babyface or an unbelievably brilliant heel. And I'm honestly not sure which. Because the crowd loves Rio. They like Shauna. They hate Hater. Her name is Hate Her. Of course they hate her. But Emmy's out there. She's doing the Freddie Mercury gimmick. She's got the fake mustache when she comes out. And she tries to do the stomp, stomp, clap thing to fire up the crowd for making her comeback. And they all just start booing her. And
She's supposed to be a heel.
Yeah, which puts her on the side then of being absolutely brilliant at it. Because she's so pathetically begging for your approval. And they reply with scorn. But she just keeps on begging. She's clueless. It's brilliant. So this is another match where they had a commercial in the middle of it. We missed the entire heat. They cut her off, whoever it was, and went straight to commercial. When they come back, we'd missed the hot tag. So we missed like half the match anyway. Shauna about killed Sakura with something like Angel's Wings. Dropped her right on her head. They do random stuff for a while. And then they get the heat on Shauna. They cut her off. She goes and hot tags Rio. If Private Party didn't have the worst comeback on the show, and they did, this would have been it. Because Rio hits the ring, a house of fire, and begins to trade cradles with Sakura until she gets pinned.
That's right. Champion got pinned.
Champion got pinned by her trainer who is challenging her, that also on the pay-per-view. So that part's fine. This match is bizarre.
Yeah, it was all right.
It was not bad. It was just weird. So speaking of weird, I guess this is not as weird as last week's Brandy Rose segment.
Hey.
Brandy Rhodes, whatever.
This was better than the voodoo gimmick.
Yes.
But I still have no idea what's going on.
Well,
and I believe that this died in the ratings.
I have a slight hint of what's going on, because at least Brandy explained.
She's bringing in Kong.
Well, but she has no authority. She doesn't run the women's division. So though her husband is an executive, and though sometimes she has been in his corner, she has no official position in AEW management. She is a manager, and she manages Awesome Kong, who may be getting the name Night Terror based on this promo, or they may have just been a nickname. It's not clear. But she says, "Who are the bullies now?"
I don't know what's going on.
I don't either.
It was short.
So this is not as bad as still trying to get the Forgotten Sons over. But Brandon Cutler wrestled Shawn Spears.
Yes.
Shawn Spears is 38 years old. Shawn Spears has been wrestling for 17 years. I think his window to become a star has passed. He comes out. He's got a No More Garbage Wrestling t-shirt on. Then they show an angle from, I guess, AEW Dark or whatever, where Tully Blanchard and Shawn Spears grabbed a pair of pliers and attempted to remove the tongue of Joey Janela.
Yeah.
And they say this, and they say, that's disgusting. And then they move on. What kind of bizarre old school mafia thing is this?
Well,
You can tear his tongue out with a pair of pliers? Did he say something smart that made them angry? What the hell? That was out of nowhere. Then, as I'm baffled by this, Sean Spears gets a squash match and he wins.
yes. Well, listen. Clearly, they think more of Sean Spears than you do.
Clearly.
Because he's got Tully Blanchard out there. Now, Tully Blanchard, when they first started doing something with Sean Spears way back months ago, Tully's doing some talking. It's great. It's Tully Blanchard. Ever since, he's just there.
He's just a grumpy old
Now,
man.
granted, on AEW Dark, they did the Michael Nakazawa match with Sean Spears, and Nakazawa used all his baby oil, and Tully's out there taking pratfalls on the oil. That was awesome. But why is Tully here if he's not doing anything? He's not a wrestler.
It's his job to hold the pliers.
It's his job to talk. Why aren't we getting Tully Blanchard? We're not even getting him on AEW Dark. Give me a Tully promo. Totally underutilized.
So Sean Spears wins a squash, and then Joey Janela comes and chases him away. And I was baffled by this. I thought, this is a feud with a build.
Yeah.
Joey Janela versus Sean Spears in almost 2020.
Yeah. That's the match.
That's the weirdest thing ever.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
It's really weird, dude.
Dude, I saw Cody's wife use voodoo to raise Awesome Kong from the dead or something. That was weirder than Sean Spears and Joey Janela.
That's less realistic. I don't know if this is weird. There's people out there who are into voodoo. I don't know who's going to be into Sean Spears versus Joey Janela. We need a John Moxley video with lots of old deathmatch blood and guts clips.
I did love this. Omega never did a promo for this match.
No.
He only has a couple of words in this video
I
package.
honestly, I don't totally understand why this match is happening, except it's very important to John Moxley that it beats Kenny Omega.
Well, the idea is Kenny Omega's company man. He's chosen one.
I see.
So he must be beaten. But anyway, Omega does a line where he basically says, "Why are you acting like you're mad that this is a hardcore match? What are you going to do? Chain wrestle me?" I was like, thank God somebody's on my side.
Yes. So I did like the way this closed when Omega says, basically, he says he wants an opponent to bring the best out of him. And they get to Moxley, who says, I don't want an opponent to bring the best out of me. I want an opponent to bring the worst out of me. So there'll be blood and guts in this here hardcore match in this pay-per-view.
I'll say.
And the main event of the show, Hangman Page and Kenny Omega versus Sammy Guevara and Chris Jericho. So Sammy has stolen Tyler Breeze's selfie gimmick. Blatantly. Unapologetically. They do the introduction. Then they do a commercial. And then the match starts. It's not that hard. It's not that hard at all.
I love the beginning of this match. The babyfaces are just beating on Sammy. And I can't remember what move it was, but one of the babyfaces lifts Sammy up for something. We'll just pretend like he's lifting him up for a rack or something. I don't know what it was, but Jericho's on the apron and he screams, "Get out of it!" That was his coaching.
It was. He's a veteran, Brian.
Yes.
Listen to what this man has to say.
Yes, this is wisdom.
So,
oh, he's lifting you? Well, get out!
they're beating him in the other portion. They're beating on, as the announcers called him several times, Sammy G. Okay.
Let's hope that doesn't happen again.
That had to be a rib on us.
I'm sure it was. No, it was a rib on WWE, I'm sure.
Or a rib on Billy. He's with these guys.
That's true.
So he's Billy's long-lost love child and probably Shorty's cousin. So they had a very basic, very good, old-school tag team wrestling match.
Dude, Billy Gunn could probably be Sammy's grandfather.
You're probably right. You're probably right. So this is one of those matches where it's so simple and fun that it makes you think, God, I want to go wrestle again. That's a high compliment coming from me. So it's all very basic tag team stuff, and then finally Jake Hager interferes. He hits Omega as he's running the ropes to break up the dive, which of course pisses the crowd off because they wanted to see the dive. He catches Sammy when Sammy gets thrown out of the ring, so Omega dives onto both of them. Hangman dives on everyone, but as he's getting back in the ring, Pac runs down and just kicks Hangman right in the balls. And Hangman goes in the ring, and Jericho hits the Judas effect and pins him. Fun! This was all very, very fun.
I did love that Omega kept going for the dive. It kept getting cut off, and then he hit it.
Yes.
This stuff is not hard.
No, it's very simple. So, a lot happened in the post-match.
Hey, I just want to say before you recap the post-match, the go-home show for Crown Jewel, the go-home angle for Crown Jewel, a show worth $60 million or whatever for the company, was divorce court.
Right.
That was the go-home angle for Crown Jewel. Divorce court.
3 people who were not on Crown Jewel.
Yes. So now what was the go-home angle for this pay-per-view on Saturday?
Well, Brian, the main eventers were involved in a tag team match. 3 of these guys have key matches in the pay-per-view. I don't think they've announced anything for Sammy yet. In fact, by the end of this, he had disappeared, which indicates he will not have one. But, so first they start beating down. It's Hager, Jericho, and Sammy beating up Hangman and Omega. Now, I need to compare this to, for example, the women's brawl on NXT, where I never had any idea what was going on. Here, they let it all play out. They gave it time to unfold. I always knew what was going on, and I always knew why. Cody runs down, makes the save, lays out Sammy with the crossroads. He wants Jericho now. Jericho tries to flee, but Cody's best friend, MJF, lays out Hager with a chair, because Hager's big and scary, hits Jericho, throws him into the ring. Cody lays him out, poses with the belt. And you think, well, the show's going off the air. But no, there is more. Jon Moxley comes to the ring with a barbed wire bat. Cody is no dummy. So he watches what Jon Moxley is doing with this barbed wire bat. But before Cody can get involved, Omega returns to square off with Moxley. Before they can do anything, Jericho attacks Cody and MJF and Hager. They all brawl to the back, or at least to the stage. Omega gets the barbed wire broom. The 2 bloodbath guys are having a stare down. But then Proud and Powerful attack them both, so everyone boos them because they want to see the fight. The Young Bucks attack Proud and Powerful. They run wild. They hit a big pair of dives. And Tony Schiavone, as happy as I've ever heard the man, just screams, "Yes!" He's ecstatic with this brawl. Omega and Moxley, they wipe out the Proud and Powerful, then they brawl with each other to the back. So they already got their revenge, you see. Proud and Powerful attacked them. So I knew why they were mad at Proud and Powerful, but that was not the real fight. The real fight's with each other. So they brawl to the back. Everyone's fighting on the stage. Nick climbs up the entrance tunnel. Nick Jackson does a big dive off that into everyone. He dives off into the pile. Everyone just, scatters and falls like dominoes. Chris Jericho, in maybe legit the best moment of his entire career, in selling this, turns his back and stumbles, but is sure to stumble right into the cameraman and tear the camera down to the ground. The Inner Circle retreats to the ring, tries to get some safety, but the fight breaks out again. There's bodies flying everywhere. It's violence, it's carnage, it's chaos, and Jim Ross is screaming, "You must buy the pay-per-view on Saturday to see more of this." And the show goes off the air.
What a go-home show.
This was awesome.
Yes.
Just awesome. So there you go. Those are the 2 shows.
Well, here's what I'm going to do here. And, we keep track of which show
Yeah.
we liked better, or however it's...
I got it written down here. We each pick one show or a tie.
I realize that we've messed this up many times. We started with a tie, if I recall correctly.
You did.
I chickened out on the very first week.
Yeah.
So some people are going to be upset about this, but fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter. It's just some stupid thing we do every Thursday.
Of course,
so
yeah.
Don't freak out about it. So, in my opinion, AEW had the better show.
All right.
Okay? Mm-hmm. But, I don't know if it was last week or the week prior. There was a week where I said that AEW had the better show. And when the show was over, I sat down and I got to thinking about it. I realized, you know what? I should have said a tie. I thought that they both had excellent shows that week. And I felt after the show was over that I was unfair by not giving that whatever week that was a tie.
All right.
So as a result, to be fair, while unofficially, I feel that AEW had the superior show this week. As a man of fairness, I am going to vote a tie this week.
Okay.
To make up for a couple of weeks ago when I felt afterwards that I had been unfair.
A make-up tie.
Yes.
A make-good tie.
Yes.
All right. I will simply vote for AEW. I do not hate NXT. I suspect my review sounds like I hated NXT.
It does every week because we get mad at all of the main roster style stuff on it.
The stuff that is bad on NXT is so
irritating.
It's irritating because it should be easily fixed.
I've got to get it off my chest.
Yes. So I did think AEW had the better show. I shall vote for All Elite Wrestling.
There you go, everybody. We're going to wrap it up for today. Got a lot of stuff coming up this weekend, including the AEW pay-per-view. Dave and I will be reviewing that one on Saturday. And Sunday, we'll be back here for our usual show, All the Observer Lives. New Observers up on the front page. Check that out. And that is it, everybody. We'll talk to you again after a while.
Good night.